Yeah, good morning one and all. This is Ramavat Mohan. Welcome to KANISHKA IAS. So today we'll be discussing about the essay paper UPSC Civil Services Examination 2026. So we'll be discussing about the section B over here. So namely the essays are the fifth essay is nature is the symbol of the spirit. Coming to the sixth one, a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. And coming to the seventh essay, shelving hard decisions is the least ethical course. And coming to the eighth one, a good leader is one who follows the followers. So we'll be discussing about these essays in very detail. So before moving on, so those are the essays which were asked in the section B part of the UPSC general essay paper. So coming to the first essay, the nature is the symbol of the spirit. Okay, so what does it mean? Nature is not merely a collection of physical objects. So we should not consider nature as only like it consists of only the physical objects. Rather than what we have to do is we need to reflect the nature in terms of deeper spiritual reality. Along with that, when you talk about the mountains, rivers, forests, or it could be flowers and skies all. So these are the like broader manifestations rather than simple physical objects. So we should not treat these these mountains, rivers, forests and the flowers and sky as simply the physical objects. They are like representing the visible manifestations of the invisible spirit, consciousness, harmony, balance, etc. what we could notice from the nature. So you can write the essay in various dimensions, like you can consider the nature as a reflection of the inner self. Okay, so while observing the different objects, physical objects in the nature, we could learn. For example, if you notice a calm lake, it represents or it teaches us to be in a peaceful manner or to create or develop a peaceful mind. Similarly, a storm represents emotional turmoil. So similarly, rising sun, it creates a hope, okay, and new beginnings could be started by taking the example of the rising sun. So similarly, a falling leaf, it represents that there will be a lot of changes in lives, as well as nothing is permanent, okay, so it denotes impermanence. So falling leaves from the trees. So similarly, flower blooming, it represents growth, okay, along with that unfolding of life. So flowers blooming represents growth and progresses where we can develop or improve our lives. So coming to the second dimension, we could denote the nature, that nature reveals unity in diversity. Very, very important point. So nature contains enormous diversity. So it has got different kinds of variety of biodiversity, that is different species, different landscapes are there, okay. Along with that, ecosystem and all. So here we can take a beautiful example of like there is soil, right? Earth. Along with the water, like we grow crops, okay, so it develops into plants, and plants, the animals will be dependent on the plants for the food, right? We humans, we consume food, so we get all those materials from the crops. And microorganisms are also playing a vital role, and finally the climate is impacting for the growth, development and all. So what we can say is that the interconnectedness symbolizes the spiritual idea that all forms of life are interconnected and they are the part of a larger whole as in the universe, we can say, or over the planet. So simply we can say that if we destruct a particular element, okay, it could be soil, water, plant, animals, anything, okay. So as these are interconnected, a single element which is destroyed will impact the larger whole of the nature, okay. So all these are interconnected. So coming to the third dimension, like nature teaches us harmony and balance, okay. So there is like nature operates through various processes, like we do observe the day and night. Along with that, there will be like birth and death, okay, growth and decay, and there will be like changing seasons, right? We do have what summer, autumn, spring and all, okay, winter seasons, and water cycle, like you come across different process in the water cycle, right? Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. So this cycle repeats, and we can learn from that nature. And along with that, food chains and ecosystems. So what we can say is that life should not be dominating everything. So we should not dominate the nature. So what we can learn is we need to learn the harmony, okay, to live or survive with along with the nature. We need to develop the harmony and balance between all. So material progress along with that environmental protection, which yields to the inner peace or inner well-being, we can say. And coming to the fourth dimension, you can make use of nature represents renewal and hope. Very, very important. So nature helps us to renew and it creates a hope in our lives. So for example, we can learn from the forest fire. So once the forest fire catches the forest, right, the trees will burn up, right? So they will be killed. But again, there will be new vegetation emerges from the burning of the forest. So similarly, a drought, after a drought, we come across even rains, right? The rain brings life or a ray of hope, we can say. Similarly, darkness, so after every darkness, there is a new sunrise. That is day and night concept. Similarly, after autumn, spring returns. So we need to renew ourselves and we have to grow our hopes, okay, to lead a spiritual life. So nature symbolizes the resilience. We need to be tougher. We should develop that quality of resilience. Okay. It teaches us that failure, suffering or loss, whatever we come across, we need to be tougher, we need to become stronger and fight for the life. Okay, so nature is teaching us a lot of things which we can build our inner spirit, okay, for a better life. And nature inspires humility. So we need, even though we see that the oceans are very, very vast, we have got high mountain peaks and ranges. Along with that, what we can say is nature challenges excessive human-centered thinking and it teaches us that power without humility can lead to destruction. So there should be humility, okay, otherwise we will be destroyed. So a spiritual relationship with nature encourages humans to move from domination to coexistence. So we should not dominate the nature, right? We need to live or survive along with the nature, that is in coexistence, or we can say mutual benefits to one another. And coming to the sixth point, nature and Indian philosophical thought. We talk about the Panchama Bhutas, right? What are those? Panchama Bhutas are nothing but water, air, fire, air and space. So human beings and nature are therefore seen as manifestations of the same cosmic order. So we need to balance, we need to use those resources in an optimized way, okay, so that there will be harmony and balance in our lives. So relevance in the modern world, what we have to do is we need to take into consideration about the environmental concerns like climate change, biodiversity loss, deforestation, pollution, resource depletion. So these has to be taken care of, right? So we need to reduce those things and better view the nature as a symbol of spirit which promotes environmental ethics, which helps us in the sustainable development. Along with that, intergenerational justice, sustainable development as already, compassion towards the living beings and harmony between humans and nature, and we need to develop the responsible consumption. So what we can conclude is that nature is the symbol of spirit which reminds us that material along with that spiritual life, they are not separate. So we need to live in harmony with the nature. So that's what, so nature teaches humanity the values of harmony. Along with that, we learn balance, resilience, interconnectedness, humility and renewal. So in that manner, you have to widen your dimensions for the first essay. So coming to the second one, the second essay is a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. So simply we can say that knowledge gives answers, but wisdom creates better questions. So what a well-educated mind, what it says is we learn more. So the more we realize what there is unending for the knowledge. So what people without proper knowledge, what they think is they know everything. So they are in a dilemma that they know everything. So learning is never ending. So what we can say is why does an educated mind ask more questions? So the educated mind asks questions because they will be in curiosity, right? Every answer opens the door to a new question. Okay, they are in the mood to innovate. They want to invent some new ideas, thoughts, whatever it may be. So the second one is they will be like in critical, they will develop critical thinking. So education encourages us to question assumptions and examine evidence. So humility, it helps us to widen our knowledge. Okay. Along with that, innovation. Okay, innovation leads to scientific discoveries. Okay, and these are all with like questioning, right? So we question and we invent new things in our day-to-day lives. And open-mindedness, a questioning mind remains ready to learn. Okay, along with that, change and they grow in order to improve their knowledge. Yeah. So coming to the like certain examples. Like the educated minds are like they are developing the curiosity. Along with that, they are helping in the critical thinking, humility, and the courage to ask questions, which are like establish new ideas or whatever ideas are there. They will be proving with some evidences. So when we take the real life or examples like from the history, which like helped in changing the entire world. Like when we talk about the Isaac Newton, he was sitting under an apple tree, right? He was like, what he observed is an apple fell to the ground from the tree. So what he came up was, he came up with a new concept of gravity, that is gravitational force of attraction and the laws of motion, we can say, and gravitation. So coming to Albert Einstein, he also questioned the conventional ideas about space, time and motion, which gave new birth to the modern physics, we can say. So those are the beauty, we can say, beautiful innovative ideas or inventions, we could say. And coming to Mahatma Gandhi, he questioned injustice and inequality, and he fought for to get rid of the colonial rule. So that is how we overthrown the Britishers, and they left India. So turning moral inquiry into a powerful movement for truth and freedom. So Mahatma Gandhi has visited each and every corner of the country, and he brought happiness among the common people. So coming to Nelson Mandela, he questioned the injustice of apartheid and racial discrimination. So he was into prison for a period of almost 27 years for the justice. Okay, and he fought for the human dignity. Okay, he transformed the nation and inspired the world. So the beauty is that he fought for the justice in South Africa for the apartheid and racial discrimination. So here what we can learn is that through this we could solve complex problems like real world issues like poverty, inequality, climate change, governance had to be could be dealt by asking questions. And evidence-based thinking could be developed. Asking the right questions helps in finding fair, inclusive and sustainable solutions. And better decisions could be brought down from questioning, right? Some discussions and all. So analyzing the multiple perspectives or multi-dimensional thinking, which arrives at a balanced decisions, which is better for the welfare of the people. And coming to continuous learning, so this questioning, it helps in continuous learning. We become updated, adaptable and ready to learn whatever new ideas are coming in our day-to-day lives. So innovative solutions like new ideas, policies, reforms, etc. And we become responsible citizens. Like a questioning mind promotes ethics, accountability and public service. So what we can conclude is that education is not the end of questioning, but it is the beginning of deeper inquiry. So a truly educated mind does not say, I know everything. It asks, what else can I learn? That means that well-educated mind will always be eager to learn some new things in their day-to-day lives, rather than thinking that they know everything. So that's about the second essay. And coming to the third essay says that shelving hard decisions is the least ethical course. So nothing but if you are postponing deliberately a difficult decision, suppose it has when timely action is necessary, what happens is it can itself be an unethical choice. That means when we are not taking the right decisions at the appropriate time, then the delayed decision may be harmful or painful, or it causes a huge loss to the people. Okay. So the failure to decide can become a decision that causes greater harm. So coming to the first dimension, like avoidance of responsibility. What happens is the leaders may delay or pass on difficult circumstances, or they just delay the decisions. Maybe that might be at risk or some criticism. So simply they postpone. So because of that, what happens is, like for example, ignoring corruption. Okay, if you don't take the right action or stop the corruption, then it keeps on continuing. Similarly, delaying action on pollution. So if you don't take climatic actions at the right time, like for example, like SDGs are there, right? So if you don't implement them as promised, then it becomes a problem which pollutes the environment, it pollutes the water, air, soil, and etc. So avoiding social injustices and ignoring unsafe conditions. So these are all leading to, because of inaction does not make the problem disappear. Okay, so don't think that by not taking the decision or not taking certain actions, the particular things will be like disappearing, or you can think that it is solved. No, that is not so. It allows it to grow rather than disappearing. Okay, rather than controlling that, the particular issue will like grow in its grow in intensity, or it becomes worse, we can say. So what we can say is, we need to act at the right time for the right decisions, or doing something right for the people. So delayed actions will definitely pay in a harmful way in the later times. So what we can say is, delay can cause greater harm. So for example, many problems become far more dangerous when ignored. So how are those? Like let us consider like climate change. When proper steps are not taken for the, like for example, if the deforestation is taking place, or some pollution like water pollution is taking place in a particular area where people are consuming the polluted water, so it harms the people, and it harms like climate change had to be like taken proper action, otherwise the climate change will worsen. So economic losses may increase if you don't take a proper action, and lives and livelihoods may also be at risk. Future generations suffer. So postponing action today can impose a heavier burden tomorrow. So similarly, ethical leadership requires moral courage. So right decisions are not always popular or easy, but they are necessary. Like say for example, if you are not taking action or decision on abolition of discrimination. So what happens is, people hate, that they develop the hatred, or there will be differences in the caste, communities, religions and all. And expansion of civil rights, action against corruption, public health in emergencies, similarly environmental protection. So long-term public health welfare must be placed above short-term convenience. So don't think that by not taking particular action at the right time, if you are postponing a particular decision, then it harms in the later times to come. So inaction is not neutral. So what we can say is, silence or delay in the face of injustice is complicity. So coming to the justice delayed is nothing but justice denied. So when important decisions are postponed, what happens? Victims continue to suffer, and evidence may also disappear. Okay, along with that, public confidence declines, and powerful may benefit from delay. So you people might have noticed that during the NEET examination, or even the Jharkhand Public Service Commission examination, or even in Karnataka, so we have come across a lot of the paper leakages. Okay, so those things, like if they are not taken, right actions are not taken at the right time, then justice delayed is justice denied. So coming to the relevance to public administration, what happens is, even certain times civil servants face difficult choices while with competing interests. Like say for example, in the first case, like there will be development versus environment. In the second case, growth versus equity, and law versus prayer. So here, coming to the development versus environment, what happens is, like should a project proceed, okay, by destroying the wildlife. Like say for example, there are forests, lot of trees have to be felled down for the development. So those areas will be ecologically sensitive, right? If certain forests are or plants or animals, if they are moving from there, they can't survive, they become extinct. So ecologically sensitive regions have to be taken care rather than the development before moving on to felling of the trees or cutting of the forest. Growth versus equity. So there will be subsidies provided by the government, but if they want to maintain the fiscal discipline, then is it wise to go for removing the subsidies, where the common people, where the poor people, the below poverty people, they will be surviving on the subsidies. So similarly, law versus pressure. Should the law be enforced despite pressure from influential groups? So there are certain groups which influence the government or something, so whether they have to go for that or not. So these are the critical situations or where the decision making becomes very difficult. So what we can say is ethical decision making path, like taking the facts, based on that there should be some consultation which helps you in legal and ethical evaluation, which yields better decision making, which will be like accountable, and which helps the society, public, okay, taking care into the welfare of the people. And can we think like wise delay versus unethical shelving? So sometimes the wise delay also benefits, like allows collection of facts. Suppose if there is some corruption, so some evidences need to be collected, right? Or there is some paper leak, so they need to collect some, so they may require more time in such cases. Ensures due process, along with that encourages consultation, and it reduces the risk of error. So has a clear purpose and timeline in certain times. So unethical shelving will avoids responsibility, it protects personal interests, deliberately ignores the problem, allows preventable harm to continue, and continues indefinitely without justification. So what we can say is not every delay is wrong, but deliberate avoidance is unethical. So at certain times, certain delays are also very, very helpful, but deliberately, like delaying the particular decision or particular scheme or particular action, that will be very, very harmful and unethical to the society. So lessons from history and the present, like delayed action against social discrimination prolongs injustice. Similarly, delayed climate action increases environmental damage. Similarly, delayed public health also, like people may die because of the diseases or non-availability of proper medicine or medical care and all. So delayed action against corruption weakens the institutions. Delayed conflict resolution deepens violence and mistrust. So timely and principled decisions prevent small problems from becoming major crises. So what we can say is that ethical decision making requires a balance between prudence and courage. So do not act recklessly, but do not indefinitely postpone necessary action to avoid the discomfort. So what we can say is an ethical person does not always choose the easiest decision or the most popular one. They choose to confront difficult realities and act responsibly, especially when inaction allows harm to continue. So coming to the final essay, a good leader is one who follows the followers. So true leadership is not about commanding people from above, but about understanding their needs, okay, listening to their voices and serving their collective interest. So a leader may lead the way, but must remain connected to the people. So very, very important point. So first dimension, you can like leadership begins with listening. So listen to the people's voice, okay, what are their requirements, what are their needs. Like for example, when you take the example of Mahatma Gandhi ji, he traveled across India, okay, during the freedom struggle, he went to the masses, he understood the issues of the people, he went into the public life, he spent his time with the common people, okay. So he could understand like the needs of entire India, and which brought awareness, okay, which united people to fight for the freedom struggle. So similarly, this like not only listening to people's voices, but understand their needs, along with that accept constructive criticism, okay, and along with that we need to encourage participation, learn from different experiences. So a leader is one who listens to the people, okay, for better equipped life, or better way we could say. And leadership is service, not domination. So his main motto is to service, okay, serve the people rather than dominating. So as a famous personality, Vivekananda, says that service to man is service to God. Service to mankind is service to God. So similarly, a true leader has to like ask that how can I help the people, okay, rather than asking that how will I be benefited from the people, rather than asking like what is my interest. A true leader has to ask that how can he serve the people, okay, serve the needy. So what we can say is the power builds the responsibility which serves the public, which enlightens or empowers the leader, and the people. A good leader uses authority for the welfare and development of others. So we can take the example of followers are a source of knowledge. So here the followers are a source of knowledge. So when we take the example of tribal communities, let us say, so we need to understand their way of style, their culture, lifestyle and the cultural practices, right? So we need to understand that, ask them, mingle with them, and if there is like scarcity of there are no schools, okay, regarding the education, or there is no health facilities, right? So we need to establish the hospitals, along with that the schools, okay, whatever needs are there, like the basic like drinking water facilities, whatever it may be. So we need to, a true leader, what he does is, he understands the people, he goes into the lives of the people and asks for their needs and he fulfills them. So that's the purpose. A wise leader learns from the people they lead, he consults with them, he engages, okay, and value their knowledge as well, which will help in the, which will be like benefiting the local communities of the tribal communities, not only tribal communities, whomsoever is in need of a particular issue. And coming to democratic leadership, leadership derives legitimacy from the people, right? So it is people who has the power, right? And a leader must be responsible for the aspirations, the participation, along with that accountability and public welfare. So what we can see says that there should be a total balance between the public opinion along with constitutional morality. We need to follow the constitutional laws, acts, whatever it may be, which serves the long-term public interest, okay, which helps in prospering and the growth and development of a particular nation. So what we can say is a leader's heart has to be like a friend, okay? He has to understand like a teacher, and he should serve as a guardian, and he need to empower like a mentor. So a leader, a true leader, has to lead with courage and compassion. So along with the leadership requires humility. So a leader has to recognize that I do not know everything, so admit mistakes and learn continuously. So a leader should not be in a dilemma that he knows everything, okay? He need to go to the people, serve the people, understand the people, okay? Suppose if he is there, he can mentor them, or he has to act like a guardian and all. And coming to the best examples of leadership connected with people is, we can take our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi has drew strength from the people actually. He understood the masses. He went to the common people, roamed across the entire nation, okay, understood the issues, and he united the different communities, different castes, different religions into united India to overthrow the power of Britishers, okay, and finally we achieved the Indian independence. So he mobilized the people for just cause, okay. He fought for the Harijans and the weaker sections, we can say. So his leadership was rooted in trust, along with that simplicity and service to mankind. So coming to Nelson Mandela, he listened to the people of South Africa, okay, and he worked for reconciliation, equality, and dignity for all. So he fought for the apartheid, and along with that he overthrew the racial discrimination. And coming to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, his leadership emerged from the struggle for the social justice, equality and empowerment of the marginalized. He followed the voice of the voiceless, and he drafted our Indian Constitution, and he was the father of the Indian Constitution. So relevance to public administration, a public servant should adopt participatory governance, okay. So you need to from government, what happens is government decides and people receive whatever schemes or benefits are there. Towards government listens, okay. Government listens, then people, they have to participate. So there will be some policies coming up which improves and brings development for the welfare of the people. So participatory governance, citizen-centric administration, along with the social audits and transparency, Gram Sabhas and local voices, they help in the needs of the villages or Gram Sabhas. People consultation, community participation and decentralization, which will help in the growth and prosperity of it will be a win-win situation for the government as well as the people. So following versus blind populism, following the followers. So when the leaders follows the followers, what happens is they listen to the people's needs, They engage with the people, like there will be like a community participation with the leaders, uses evidence and reason, respects constitutional values, and it promotes collective welfare. So similarly, blind populism will like accepts every demand. So there will be no like proper analysis, seeks only popularity. It ignores long-term consequences. So may compromise principles, priorities, short-term approval and all. So those are like they will be hampering a true leader actually. So those had to be neglected or avoided. A leader must have the humility to listen and the courage to make the right decision. So what we can conclude is that the best leader does not stand above the people, okay? They stand with the people, they live with the people, they move with the people, okay? And they listen to their voices, learning from their experiences, along with that, guiding them towards a better future, okay? So this is the like very crux of the 4 S's of section B. Only thing is you need to take up different ideas, dimensions, whatever we discussed a few over here. So it is up to you again, like how you write the essay. It is not a rule that you need to write a particular essay in whatever I was explaining, right? So you come up with a different idea and you can put up with a beautiful example which like narrates it in a very simple, okay, simple manner which could be understood by the aspirants, people, etc. Thank you so much. That's it for today. We will be meeting in the next session.